I've been rushed into this. Okay. I'm being called a barbarian on the stream. Hello, everyone. Dumadoxy says, I have my accordion, let me on. Definitely in just a bit. Too bad we can't, do it simultaneously. Obviously, we could record something, but we can't do it right now live because there's a delay. Otherwise, we could sing some pretty epic Cossack Imperial Russian music. But that's just the way things are, Dumadoxy. That's just the way things are. Right, so last time I wanted to start with an Austrian song and end later on. I renegotiated with myself to end with an Austrian song, and I did neither of those, which is great. But I was hoping someone would be German and could evaluate my Steiermarkische dialect. So we're going to be doing that. And Dumadoxy, if you're serious, we're definitely going to have some accordion. Hello, Dr. Crispy. Hello, Randy West and Panchuchin. And I will stop asking you how that's pronounced, and it will be Panchuchin, even if you were to correct me. Because I've given you all of these chances to do so, and yet not a single phonetic input from you. Oh, so while we're waiting for people to trickle in, I can complain. I can always complain. I'm a curmudgeon. That's right. Well, now I'm not doing it. Hello, Distinction. Extanglia. People are coming in. So allow me to begin my... It's actually geared towards myself. I'm upset with myself and annoyed with myself because I told you on Sunday I might not be able to make it today because I have to do work around the property, had to deal with bricks being set aside that were excess from the renovations we were doing, and I had to get rid of those. I had to mow the grass, which has grown somewhat since since rain season came in after a long drought. I had to clean up and then deal with that. And then on the inside of the property, the fenced off part, I don't do with a weed whacker, I do it with a lawnmower because it's better, but I can't do it on the outside. It's not very level. There are rocks, there are things I'd rather not destroy my lawnmower on. So I didn't. D Sims is here, unit X3K. So times 3,000. Shareholders United. Hello. How is it in Sverige? I just had a conversation with a communist business owner. Interesting array of words to encounter. He was complaining about capitalism. Well, obviously. Turn on reads. I need to change my settings to allow raids. I have no idea how that's supposed to happen. Settings are here. General. I can't. Audio avatars. Poof. Automatically add. No, that's not it. Goodness. No. Nation person. Right. I don't know how. So settings. Okay. Let's see. Well, Emmanuel has it. Settings, community. Settings. I don't see a community. Oh, YouTube has. I have to do it over on YouTube. Okay, I can do that. Sorry. A bit of a git. I don't know why I expected it to be over StreamYard. So settings. What did you say? Left bottom, community. On the automated filters tab, find live redirects and enable for all, or at least for channels you subscribe to. All right. Account, community. What's happening? Is it in YouTube Studios or just regular YouTube? By the time I figured this out, people would have trickled in. Oh, YouTube Studio. I keep reading like an idiot. YouTube Studio. There we go. Settings. There we are. Community. See. I can read. On the automated filters tab. Automated filters tab. Okay, let's find that one. Live redirects. All channels. Let's put it on all channels for now. There we are. That should have solved the problem. Thank you, well, Emmanuel. This is why we shouldn't be exporting customer support to the real news network. Well, that's unfortunate. Answers in atheism. Okay, there we are. I don't know if it's working. It ought to have finished everything up. Posh, let me write your Serbian intro for your channel. Okay, do Medoxy. That sounds like something I can entrust to you and then never mention to anyone that it was written by an Albanian. who made it? Oh, a friend. Oh, where's he from? Places. You will regret, yeah, probably. Right. So, speaking of slop, I have a short introduction about why I'm talking about slop, because I'm constantly having to bloody deal with it. Posh, what accent does your inner monologue have? Kentucky or Appalachian? Actually, I sound exactly like this. The weird thing is there's a point of reverberation that my voice reaches sometime that it feels like my bones are vibrating. Not always, though. Currently, it's a bit the case, but usually when I've just woken up and I'm well hydrated and everything, and I haven't been speaking for a while. That's why I said when I wake up, at least he's not from Montenegro. Do you ever hang out in the politics Discord? I tend to not engage with Discord at all. Like if someone invites me, hey, could you come here for this or that, then I will. But it's not part of my daily routine. I'm far too asocial. Otherwise, people can always engage me one-on-one, especially over Instagram. But again, if something needs to be addressed, I know there are plenty of very competent people in the Discord, So it's not like you need me. But if for some reason you were to need me specifically, then all right. Posh's voice box is pipe organ maxing. I've been enjoying like the maxing. Someone discovered what rope maxing meant, saying Gen Alpha is cruel. Like, well. Does Posh hum himself to sleep with that voice? No, I don't hum myself to sleep. I usually play something to distract me, because when I get lost with my own thoughts, it's more often the case that I get like nightmares, and I've been having those since I was a child. It's fun. Politics Discord is a dumpster fire, almost on the level of TikTok. Okay, yeah. So I would assume so. We're going to be talking about politics, especially with the topic at hand. Was your Serb voice the same way, reverberant? Yes, arguably slightly more so, because of the lower aperture of Serbian phonetics as compared to English phonetics. English proper, not English just the language. I mean the accent itself, because some have higher, some lower, depending on the accent, which is, languages do that all the time, which is why you will find certain languages aren't really conducive towards. Jovan Pop asks, izvini, nikako ne mogu da provalim koliko imaš godina. 30. Od pre nedelju i nešto. So someone asked, I said, I can't figure out how old you are. Posh, would it be wrong for me to trick or treat with my daughter whilst in a schema monk robe? Yes. Because you would look too cool. You would be monk maxing. So yeah. Yeah, nightmares are good cardio. Well, it's not that much of a problem, except that sometimes you wake up and your adrenaline is just gushing through your veins, and then you can't fall back asleep. But yeah, Joe Norman claims you're from India. You live in Notting Hill and are married to a German. I didn't get the from India part. Now I'm actually offended. Okay, have to emphasize this from D Sims. If you think Gen Alpha's crew should have lived in the Balkans in the 90s, oh wait. Indeed. I spoke about, like, a couple of months ago, we had like a air siren test, obviously announced and everything, but who reads local news unless something big happens already, so you read it in retrospect. And then all of a sudden the sirens went off, and like, oh yeah, just like the good old days. Do you have DMs open on Twitter? Where can I send the Albanian Ghost written intro? Yes, I do. You can send it on Twitter. We shouldn't call it X. Worst marketing. Like, Elon Musk's entire thing is marketing things, and he really sucks at it. X. Unless it's one of those things, it's so bad that people can't stop talking about it. Can you explain aperture more? I guess it is the case that men speaking Slavic languages always seem to just have low voices. Well, it's mostly a genetic thing. It's how thick your vocal cords are. But definitely you're going to be lower and higher on a register if you're pushed. You know, it cannot be changed that much, but it can definitely be ignored. If you speak like Mandarin, it's a very tightly, that's, you said aperture, I should explain it. So it's basically the amount of closedness of the speaking apparatus. So we have Sheffield United here. He is from Sweden, very high aperture. So when you say, I don't know, jag talar svensk. Very close. So high aperture. Low aperture means more open. And it allows, for proper production in the back of the throat and stuff, which allows for more booming voice. Also, if you don't have nasal vowels, that can often direct it. A lot of people, you should have nasality for reverberation, but not in the sense that, how shall we say, not that you push air through your nasal cavity, but just have the soft palate, relaxed, so you can reverberate in the nasal cavity. Still have chills from the siren? Yep. Send your weasels to Serbia, yes, please. Posh looks like a young 40-year-old and a 20-year-old. The throat resonance stream on the top throat resonance stream on the interwebs. Thank you. Nasal valves. No, that's not true at all. It's all in the shoulders, bro. Right. So I still haven't explained to you why I'm upset at myself. So I was doing the work, getting rid of the bricks. I mowed the entire thing, outside the fenced area. But I had forgotten to calculate for the fact that the sun sets like an hour and a half earlier than when the day was longest. So I failed at that. I failed to calculate how much time I needed. And I said, okay, whatever, I also was negotiating with myself, like, okay, I don't need to do this here now, these more towards the edges of like pathways and stuff. Okay, I can do that later on. Okay, I can do this area tomorrow, but I'll have to do the rest. And by the time I was finished for the rest of the works, you need to, we have 2 apple trees back there, so you need to get those away, put them in the composter and stuff, so you can go through with the mower. And by the time everything was prepared, I realized that there was not enough light for me to properly be able to see if I passed through an area or not. So there would be patches that weren't properly taken care of. But I thought, okay, I'll do it tomorrow in the afternoon. And what happens tomorrow in the afternoon, which is to say today? Rain. So I couldn't finish it. And I'm utterly annoyed, because ever since we did the renovations, there was a lot of rubbish lying around or being tucked away somewhere where it doesn't really isn't easily visible. But still, if you live here, you want to take care of everything. God damn it. It's so annoying. Posh looks like Clarence Thomas. I look black. I've never realized that. First time I'm hearing it, because people tend to tell me I need to get more sun because I'm so pale. Shout out to that legendary video. Posh needs a good old-fashioned YouTube adversary or enemy. I can't be bothered with that. I've never cared about anyone enough who annoys me to consider them worthy of the time. And I'm not doing one of those, CIA fake ones. We have Doomadoxy here. I mean, he's sort of, Andrew is also sort of a frenemy. But that's just ethnic insults. I am his enemy by blood. Yes. Would you care to talk about the differences in languages that make some more poetic than others? St. Nikolai's Serbian songs don't think they could be translated to English and maintain the beauty. Oh, I can talk about that. So it would depend. So there's one basic division with languages. It is which ones are more analytical, which ones are more plastic. So what that means is languages which are more analytical. The most analytical I can think of would be Mandarin, because everything is arranged through prepositions, word order. Those things remain rigid, and then through analysis, so to speak, you can extract the nuances of what they mean. But the words remain, how shall we say, unchanged. There's no morphology to speak of. That's how different Chinese languages developed, actually, not just Mandarin, obviously. Then, if you've studied Japanese, that's more plastic because it has more morphology, etc. English is pretty analytical, so you have changes. You say, I don't know, third person singular, present, simple. You add an S, to that. I work, you work, he works. Obvious exceptions. It's not always like that, but that's the basic rule. So there are changes. There are conjugations, declensions stay in the realm of just pronouns. So again, there are changes, but they're very limited. French is a bit more plastic, and then all the way to languages such as Slavic languages. Latin is like this. Greek is pretty heavily plastic, but languages that have a lot of morphology in them. So declensions aren't just I, me, he, him, she, her, we, us, and they, them, which is basically all of them. In modern English, you had certain changes in that existed in older forms of English, but it's basically just that, just the pronouns. In Serbian, all nouns and adjectives go through 7 grammatical cases. All the pronouns, although they don't have a vocative case, so that's an impossibility. I'll talk about the vocative case when we study Latin. However, the more morphology you have, it is more difficult to learn, but it also allows for a lot of nuance for poetry. Now, that's just if you're talking about how one can rhyme. It gives you a lot of liberty. It also gives a lot of liberty because more plastic languages have a much freer word order. Now, poetry is going to also provide a lot of latitude for word order and basic rules, what we call poetic liberty. So you can achieve some type of, figure, some type of a certain number of syllables, etc., etc. There are allowances in all languages, but in plastic languages, after a certain point, word order is used mostly for emphasis. So, yeah, that's going to provide a lot of it. But ultimately, I don't know if you mean like written poetry, or do you believe, or do you mean that there is poetry, a language is poetic, depending on how beautiful it sounds, and that's going to depend obviously on your dialect. It's going to depend on the phonetics, and I like to joke around that like you can't really do deep poetry with a Scottish accent. It's too rough. Once upon a midnight dreary, will I ponder the weak and weary of a many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. It's too fun to speak with the Scottish accent. So obviously strengths in all accents or dialects, if you want to call them that. American sounds very professional. British, the posh British one, sounds very royal or noble, whatever. It's what it was designed to do. So yeah. Your DMs were not open to Albanians, so I sent it over Telegram just now. How are they not open? Oh, you mean we have to follow each other. Okay. I missed a lot of the chat. I think it's the first time we had over 100 people, so things are moving more quickly than I'm accustomed to. So is it he, she, we, cooms, or coomis? Deep morphological quandaries there. Imagine Posh was changed to a set of Encyclopedia Britannica. I actually have a set in Serbian. Why are Spanish and Italian so beautiful sounding? There is a class of accents that are called melodic accents. So that's not exactly a clear science how that works, but there is Swedish has a melodic accent. Others just have a pure emphasis. Just it strikes at a certain syllable. They don't bend in a particular way, and the longer the emphases, the more they bend, it can provide a lot of texture to a language, and the rest is just pure colophony, which is a lot of it is going to be subjective. I don't particularly like Spanish, how it sounds. I like Italian, although it's still a bit too happy, joy for me. You can only scream freedom in a Scottish accent. Yes. Because they're Freemasons. Haggis? Yes, of course. Catch up, Posh. Oh, I'm trying. Don't make me do stuff when I didn't bloody finish mowing my property. What about the Australian accent? Yeah, Australian accent comes from a less fancy form of English. A lot of talk about how alcohol influenced it. I can't get over. Oh no! They actually introduced like an R. I thought that was just a joke until I focused in on it. That's not true. I can do Australian for a very short while, and for some reason it slips into like Southern. I have no idea why. Do you teach Latin with Italian accent and gestures? No, not a chance. I was asked today about some advice on Latin. If you were to teach someone who's just starting out, and I could expand that suggestion to other things. So in Latin, you have three basic divisions. You have the first division would be ecclesiastical and classical, obviously. So the one that the Romans would have spoken and the one that the Catholic Church uses. That's one division. But then the classical Latin is split into Vulgar Latin, which doesn't mean how we use vulgar today, but it's just like how the commoners speak, and then the urban Latin, which is how the nobles speak, the patrician class. And a general piece of advice to anyone who would like to study Latin is, when I start, I will follow this. We will be learning vulgar classical, because you're going to be like in the middle of it. Ecclesiastical Latin sounds more like Italian, because a soft C isn't like in classical Latin a t, it is a ch. So can I think of a word? I hate thinking of a word off the top of my head. God damn it. Okay, I know that. Crucem sanctam subiit. So you have crucem, which is the accusative form of crux, which means cross. So you would not say, that's how you say it in ecclesiastical. In classical vulgar, you say crucem, and then in classical urban, you say crucem, because classical urban does not recognize a soft or a hard C. It's always a K sound. Classical Volga has a hard and a soft C, but it always has a hard G. So it's always a G. And ecclesiastical Latin recognizes a hard G, which is a G, and a soft G, which is a J. Right? So I will be going with the one we were taught back when I was at school, which is classical Volga, because you can easily shift to the urban. It is, you're a hard G. Harder. God damn it. English is German slang. I don't get to see Posh very often. This is a treat. Thank you, Suspicious. That's a strange thing. It's very suspicious of you to say that. You should be a voice actor. Your voice would be great for some video game. If offered, I won't, refuse. Where was I? Yeah. So you go for like a middle one. Urban Latin, it follows what's often referred to as the Adolungian principle. So you read and write in the same manner, right? One phoneme, one grapheme. That's how Serbian Cyrillic writing works. Serbian Latin doesn't work that well. I mean, the Latin script, so the letters we use, because it wasn't designed to be specifically for Serbian, while the Serbian Cyrillic is. So again, Serbian Cyrillic, I can teach someone how to read it basically in a couple of hours. But it is almost never used in any way, shape, or form. Urban Latin, I mean. It's just discussed for the sake of being discussed as a historical iteration of a language. And then when you move over to ecclesiastical, you've got more of there's more variation there. As I said, hard and soft G, SC, if followed by a soft vowel, it's a sh. So, which also exists in Italian. That's why I say it's very Italian-y, etc. So go for the middle one. Once people whom you're teaching get accustomed to the middle one, it's easier to switch over to one with more variations or with fewer. Right. American redneck. Well, you're suspicious and you say you're an American redneck. So I can assume you're a Canadian nobleman. When did Latin stop being Latin in Spain, for example? Languages really change a lot. We don't appreciate that today because we've got standardized education, but they fall apart. They mix in with local languages. Invasions also can really change a language. English being one of the easiest and best known examples. There's a reason why over half of English words are of French origin. It is something that happened with the Norman invasion. And for centuries after that, the nobles still spoke only French. Right. Oh, God. Someone asked, what is slop-posting? I haven't even began to discuss what I wanted in more than half an hour. So thank you, Jack or Yak, the guitar god. And as Jim Bomb said, that's a good opening gambit. If you want people to check out your stuff, but you're placing high risks. So if people visit your channel and see you are actually extraordinarily good at guitar, people are going to say, okay, fair enough. Still a bit pretentious, but not completely unjustified. Isn't a lot of English Scandinavian too from the Vikings? Yes, but not nearly as much as French. Like slaughter is one of those Norse terms. And welcome, I believe it came from there, although I'm not sure. Germans also say willkommen. No, Posh, I'm an actual American redneck, cowboy boots, pickup truck, and chickens in the backyard. Based. Nice. If you like Latin so much, name every conquistador. I will not read that out loud. Yeah, it's not about having a Viking king. Vikings were most Germanic conquerors, didn't really enforce their language and customs. They were more than happy to adapt. That's what happens with the Franks when they came into Gaul and turned it into basically French. So, the Franks adapted to the local language. They didn't impose German there. So that's why, similarly, what happened with the Normans in Normandy. But the French do impose. Right. So, slop-posting. Normans are French Vikings. Yeah, I mean, not fully, but you have to understand, like when people settle an area, the genetics doesn't flip. It's not like in strategy games. So obviously more than what would be the case like South and Aquitania and so on. But they are Vikingier French. What brand cigarette is that? We talked about that on Sunday. It's like Roll Drum, which I was told was Dutch. It's actually my gamer handle. I've had it since 2006, but yeah, I'm very musically talented. Just haven't been practicing. I've been a 60-hour working man for a long time. Oh, fair enough. Do you play the guitar? Or is it a ukulele? Right, on to slop-posting. Thank you for keeping me somewhat in line. So slop-posting is like this general term it's an internet term. Used to describe low-tier like bait, whether it's rage bait, whether it's different type of baiting. You can intentionally like get something wrong to get people to engage with it. If you've seen, Facebook is now honestly an eerie place to visit because you get a lot of these AI posts. And I every so often I screenshot them just to I have horrible English like this eldritch horrors, usually something either evolving around scantily clad women with like 3 legs, or some type of like quasi, those older political cartoons, you have them still today online, but like that style. And it's like American military, and again, nothing ever makes sense. May God is bless us, in like the bubble, and you won't regret to like this. So that's what I mean when I say slop. Now, obviously, AI slop is, I don't know if it means advanced or even reduced form of slop, but nevertheless, it is something done to get engagement. One of the ones that truly have annoyed me, like I didn't even find it slightly funny, like I find the AI slop, is probably because mostly old people get to interact with this. One of those, find this object in this cartoon, and you find like it's like a shoe, and then you find it that shape in some curtain. So they will have like find these 3 or 4 objects, and one of them won't be there. And the point of posting something like that is you want people to start commenting. You want to have people start saying, well, I haven't found this one. Has anyone found it? Blah, 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 blah. So slop-posting is the intro to grifting, somewhat. A lot of it isn't necessarily like malintentioned. It's properly just people are not high quality thinkers and just regurgitate things, and they do so through slop. Norman's less gay French. I don't know. If you look at how the Scandinavians are doing, do they make things less or more gay? Again, it doesn't have to be grifting. That's not my problem. It's not always engagement farming, as in I don't actually believe this, but I'm going to pretend to. It gets a lot of shares, for example, because a lot of people can interact with it. Slop is obviously also a reference to what food is like nowadays, like fast food, your snacks, your soft drinks, etc. Slop is about mass-produced, low-quality rubbish that is meant to be easy to engage with in some way. Sometimes it's just grift, so it's made cynically. Other times it's just low-quality thinking, just regurgitating party lines, religious dogma being expressed in pathetic ways, which I'm going to get to, which is what I interact with mostly, or at least I see mostly on Twitter, like slop-posting. Gay slop, yeah, atheist slop, whatever you like. That's the exact point. It's not meant for serious engagement unless you're like some, woo, Trump is going to save us, woo. Right, and then you might, if someone comments, no, he isn't, then you go, well, you can flicker back to... Okay, I'm not going to let myself start using slurs. That will not end well. AI photos, videos of Moses parting the Red Sea. No, AI generated isn't necessarily slop. How you use it can render it slop, because you can just, I'm just going to find a thumbnail. I'm not talented. Yeah, content for content. Right. Let's call it that. Pim Oros. Now, I don't know if it's Oros or Orosh. I think I've asked you this before, but grifting is pretending to be part of a movement in order to garner attention and, more importantly, money. AI isn't slop, it's the Antichrist. Let's not get all Amishy about it. I can foresee a lot of things going very, very wrong with AI being introduced. We've seen it applied in military circumstances. Hasn't really been most impressive. But no, I wouldn't call it Antichrist. That's more of like a prot take. Right. I don't use it, just to be clear. And I will mention AI in a different sense soon. Wearing white beaters isn't slop if you're posh. That's literally just for survival. Rip. But right, so let's talk about what I see, and through that you can recognize what you get to interact with, because the sad thing is it's actually pretty successful. It does the job, and that's outstandingly disheartening to me. But I understand. You get the cheap, food. You can't be bothered to prepare a steak, roast a rump or something, when you can buy just this god-awful horror known as fast food, and it's much cheaper. Right. So what I see, I don't get any pornography or anything on Twitter, for which I'm incredibly thankful. What I do get is a lot of slop posting. PSP, prod Slop-Posting. So there are a couple of these low tier. I don't think they're AI. I don't think they're bots. I think they're actual people. Like a couple of accounts, like one is called 5 Solas, another is called Chad Johnson, and a couple of others. Sounds like a king. But the thing is, I see like a yes, Jackson Hinkle is one of them. Like how people trust him, I don't understand. But nevertheless, I don't think he believes anything and has ever believed anything in his entire life. But to these prods, so one of them I can't remember. It's some half Latino name. One, either the name or the surname is like Latino, the other isn't. He looks Latino-y, but nevertheless, I think every couple of days he posts some variation of if your idea of salvation is works, faith plus works, that ain't it. So, or if you believe you need to work to be saved, that ain't it. Right? Some variation. Why? Because then Catholics usually, although there are Orthodox Israelis, that Catholics are much more numerous, and especially in the English-speaking world. So, well, you don't understand. He doesn't respond. Just posts it. People start reacting. Then the prods go, well, F you, papist. And then the papists get mad. And they're like, oh, and you, what, you're going to have another king start a new church for you? Or some depraved monk? Right. And then they start engaging. There you go. Engagement. And you just have to continually just post it. That's one of them. Another is, and I've seen multiple post a variation of this, like 5 words the Catholic Church hates: faith alone and Christ alone. Right? You can imagine. Jim Bob has hosted Prot on the Spot multiple times. You've seen it. A lot of you also watch Jay and other people in our circles who engage with prots. It's predictable what they're going to be posting, like call no man father, some quotation from Romans, completely, of course, devoid of context, historical or otherwise. And you can imagine how easy it is. And then every so often you repost it with a bit of a different wording. And not every time does it work, but it does. The prods dream of AI icons. I don't know. If you don't like the stream, Diddy is being released. Oh. I read that as if you were breaking news, but that's a threat. Yeah, plain reading. That's something I will address in a separate stream. It took me a bloody hour to start talking about what I wanted to talk about. Okay, that's one of them. Again, you can imagine it. There is also Orthodox Slop-Posting, but very little of it. At least it jumps out to me. Maybe for others there's more of it, but it's not like I have a problem with people posting this, like orthodoxy, it's right in the name, like right worship, which is technically incorrect also, like what the word means, like doxa isn't exactly, can be translated as just worship. But nevertheless, you post it in a way that is meant to anger Catholics and prots. Catholics have their slop posters, just keep machine gunning Matthew 16:18, or basic, call outs like, well, Luther started your church, so it's wrong. It's not that simple. It's not a form of sheed posting. That's because shit posting is a form of humor. This isn't a form of humor. This can be sincere, as I said, it doesn't have to be grifting, but it is pretty similar in the sense that a lot of it is spamming. But other than that, shit posting is a type of humor. People discussing the Diddy thing. I love the Orthodox bros that slam converts from having tattoos. Like, bro, most of us are still are sinners. Most of us, all of us are still sinners. I'm pretty sure. That's the point of the church. It's a hospital for the spiritual. Exactly, Justin Merck. What's the baby oil thing? Oh, I'm a bit proud of myself because when I read that, I first thought you needed an explanation for chrismating babies. And then I realized, oh no, you meant the Diddy thing. Just oiled my work boots with boot grease. That's as redneck as blue collar as it gets. I don't know. You could have just, like taken Big Fat or something. Okay, I wanted to say I wouldn't engage with the Diddy talk because I haven't really looked into it. That's why we've got Jay. Is Diddy or didn't he? Nice, very nice. So again, slop. Atheist slop. If you want to know about atheist slop, don't ask atheists. Don't even ask the accounts. Ask Jim Bob because he can't help himself and has to start arguing immediately. So if we could get Jim Bob to stop just engaging with bots on Twitter, or at least with non-bot generated slop, like we'd be on Savage Memes Volume 8 or 9 at this point. I literally commented on one of his tweets on as a response to some atheist nonsense. They say, "God damn it, Jim Bob, stop arguing with bots." There's that Lilith account, which I think is definitely a bot. And if not like a literal bot, there are bot farms, as they're called. Like people, you can look it up. Like people sit in offices with like dozens of phones in front of them, just posting stuff, liking stuff, etc., etc. It's people get paid for advertisements to generate money per view and engagement. So yeah. There's that. And then there is political slop posting. Now, with political slop posting, I think that's where you get the most non-grift posting, because a lot of people who engage in politics are just idiots. They have like 5 thoughts a week in total on a good week. So they will just repost some cartoon or what's his name, Ben Garrison, I think is a pretty known like Trumpist, pro-Trump cartoonist, and then people start sharing it, yada yada yada, and of course engagement is very high, especially in American election seasons, and as time goes on, more and more. Mario says, yelling people. No, it's just the glass. I'm actually drinking carbonated mineral water. I'll pour some more right now. Isn't Kamala's whole career a slop pop post? Yes, basically. We need to work on making things better. Knez Milos, then no. As I said, unfortunately, Knez Milos has really like been reduced in quality. But as I shown, like, it's named Perun. So it's a pagan, although a lot of waters are just named after some pagan deities, but it's actually a pretty good carbonated mineral water. Especially my heart was broken when, in the last couple of years, the one I used to drink most before that really went down in quality. Care to comment on right-wing Serbian Twitter speaking out against the patriarch? No. Because I think if it's easier to discuss things with the bloody rainbow, no, what's it called, sparkle creed people than it is with those people. Usually trying to say, well, the patriarch should just run for president. And the patriarch should address this political issue, that political issue. Like currently, and for quite a while now, Rio Tinto is trying to start mining lithium in Serbia, and like both the prominent right and the prominent left, I mean, so in terms of, you know, moving over from the center, the headphones don't glow. RIP. They don't. These ones don't. But basically they want to start mining lithium in Serbia, and as I said, the hard right and the hard left are very against it, because we know how these entities operate, and they're just going to be spewing acid all over the land and poison it. But then, you know, you try resisting Rio Tinto even if you wanted to, and I don't think our politicians want to. Space Serbian. When I grew up in a middle class neighborhood, my friend needed an abortion. Why could I do a half decent Kamala Harris? This is new to me. We need the anti-lithium party. Right. That what people don't realize, like in Europe in general, right-wing parties are very pro-environment because they see it as poisoning the ancestral lands. So yeah. Freedom. God damn it. Like, honestly, Biden is nicer to listen to. And as a Serb, even especially, I don't like Biden. You sounded like Dark Knight Joker, sir. Well, I don't watch that, but I probably saw a clip or something. Posh does a great wizard and a political prostitute accent. Ah, yes, the two genders, great wizard and political prostitute. Lithium-ion batteries and eucalyptus trees do not go well together. Oof. Yeah, we haven't got eucalyptus trees, so we're good there. Isn't Rio Tinto Australian? Do you really want Aussies in Serbis? Yeah, I don't think it's purely Australian. I think it's American Australian, if I'm not mistaken. But it doesn't matter. They're not going to be employing Australians, hopefully. And we've got enough homegrown criminals. We even have the war criminal variety. We don't need your petty little regular criminals. Kamala, knee pads. I meant what I said. This is a treat for me. Bless you, Posh. Thank you so much. That's lovely of you to say. On to the Greek lessons, right? So back to our political slop posting. So you just post. These tend to be more on the offense, like the prots tend to be more on the offense than the defense. So you just post something about Trump. Oh, do you know he said good people on both sides? You know the talking points. I'm not here to discuss political events specifically, but big intelligentsia. Yeah, I know. What was it? On David Patrick Harry's stream, I talked about how big cities are going to destroy anything. Like that you can't have. With regards to lithium. Okay, never mind. Images of Trump saving cats and dogs. Although that's more, I think that's more shit posting. That's more just fun. Although it can kind of be both, you know. Well, what? I'm just having fun. I'm not actually promoting a talking point. Back to the topic. So all sides do it. I can't remember. Like I think you, Pim Orosh, mentioned like Jackson Hinkle. Great example of it. We see a lot of the Groypers do it. We see. I can't remember that woman that I find extremely annoying because she's like, the only thing Jews fear is the Christians and Muslims coming together. Are Hungarians the Haitians of Serbia? No, we civilized them since they descended from the steppes of Central Asia. They even stopped eating humans, so they've come a long way since the early days. Right. You see that, but you see posting about Israel, you see it about Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, like all sides on those. One of the most common ones is, can we get 5,000 people to comment, fuck Israel? And then someone tweets it, or reply tweet, I don't know, I don't use it all that much, I mostly browse, says, oh, but can we get 10,000 people to say fuck Palestine? So it's just so outstandingly low IQ, and it provides nothing. It's just like sports. At least sports can be fun and family, oriented. No one goes, oh, I'm taking my kids out to shout fuck Israel. Sorry for all the swearing, but I'm trying to not spend too much time annoyingly subverting the full effect of the swear. Never go full Hungarian, of course. Pomaže Bog, vojvodo, Bog ti pomogo, junače. There you go, some Serbian. Bog ti pomogo. You can see it just, I get like a SoCal vocal fry. Pljeskavice. Yes. I'm having one tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. The day after. I like your white American accent. We do the same accent. That's so cool. The West Slop is the one showing some dying kid in a war zone with a caption saying, skip if you want this child to die, basically sympathy baiting, guilt tripping. I'll emphasize this comment because that's exactly one of the types. So there are genres of slop posting, unfortunately. And it's as I said, it's not always rage baiting. It's what do they call it? Like gore. It's not gore baiting. If it's the one I think it is, the phrase I mean, I'm not repeating that one, but it's baiting people with gore, and then obviously it's anything that is low quality, low IQ, adds nothing. It's more or less how shall we say, like a rallying cry or getting people to be mad at something. So people can get mad at very good takes. By good, I mean high quality. Even if you can disagree with it, you can say, "Oh, that's a decent argument. Let's engage with it." But that's where we hit the road. When I mentioned this a lot of times, when we debate prots, and we're not talking about social media posting, we're talking about even direct engagement. What tends to happen is that they just throw a verse at you, and then you have to start explaining, okay, you can't say that because you can't take it in that way. It's insufficiently it's an insufficiently deep analysis of what the text is trying to say. First of all, you're taking a verse. Versification was done for the purposes of reading these texts during services. So it's a church-oriented thing. I also said I really liked the idea that Father Stephen DeYoung gave, which is try to read an epistle, let's say, without versification and chapter. It reads almost differently. It has a different feel to it. It doesn't feel as regimented, and obviously that's how it was written. And then versified for, of course, also ease of reference, etc. It's not just versification, but that's the reason it's called a verse. Posh would hit the thumbs down every time. I have to emphasize this. You hit the like button because you like the stream. I hit the like button because God is good. If you think God is good, hit the like button. Oh, goodness gracious. 30 cents a week can buy these unprivileged children tacos. Yeah, what's up, Posh? You should stream more oftenly. You're good at the talking thing and diving into philosophical concepts, I'm back in busyness. Thank you, Partik Pal Singh. I'm back in business since Sunday, so probably again on Thursday with a different topic. But when I said debating prots, so call no man father, and then you need to bring up, well, Jesus says your father Abraham. He calls people father, this, father, that. So Jesus uses it himself. And then you have to explain, well, why? Well, this is what it means to call someone a son of X, like son of Adam means like a human being. Because the son is like the father. So when you insult someone, you son of Satan, you mean you are doing the works of demons. You are like the demons. You're acting in such a manner. And you have to go through this and that. But then they will say, well, you're just engaging in philosophy or obfuscating. It's plain. It's the clear reading, plain reading, perspicuity, whatever they bring up. They will not take any answer that's more than 3 sentences long. A lot will, but those tend to already be somewhat, halfway out of Protestantism. So yeah, that's the exact problem. You often have to engage with many more arguments or with many more words, let's say, to refute a very apparently simple, although wrong argument. So now you look like you're on the defensive. You're appealing to like 1,000 things in order to be able to refute this very simple, obvious point. And that is the beauty of slop. It makes it seem like you're getting proper food, intellectually, spiritually, or whatever, from this fast food, spiritual, intellectual fast food. And it's not. It's poison. And there's probably not even dog meat in it. Probably not even that. You're not allowed even those proteins. And it is the problem we find when you find it on Twitter. If you're Jim Bob, you argue every time. But I can, I can try to say that he shouldn't be doing that. But what's the alternative? You just let it go unanswered. So every so often I get annoyed and I answer one of these non-bot but pretty bot-like in behavior Protestant accounts. They will say something like, well, faith alone in Christ alone. And I say, oh, I know. I've heard some of these pagan orthodox, in quotation marks, and Catholics, they even have faith in the Holy Spirit. Can you believe that? It says in Christ alone. I don't need to believe in any Holy Spirit. Because that's what they're saying. And if they say anything along the lines of, well, believing in Christ also means believing in his Spirit, wait. Isn't that the whole bloody thing we try to say? Like, if you are faithful to Christ, you're faithful to his body, the church. Oh, no. That's obviously wrong. So you can engage with it on semantics. I'm trying to be... there is no good solution, but there are some less bad solutions. So try to distill from this some type of method that you can apply in your whatever slop you come across that you believe can be countered. Very often it should just be ignored. But as I said, I mentioned that faith alone in Christ alone. Okay, so you don't need to believe in the Holy Spirit. And they don't like that. You obviously can go to like some type of, what are they called? Pneumatoki, like these people who battle against the spirit and believe it's a force or something. Yeah, but you can say, yeah, I don't even believe in the Father. Just faith alone in Jesus. Because if you're going to say faith, that means belief. So I don't even have to believe in the Father. But then they will again say, well, the Father, Jesus himself, the Son, says he is sent by the Father, and you should. Well, okay, then don't say these stupid things if you're just going to turn it into a slogan, which is the sloppiest form of slop. I think like McDonald's would envy like how bad slogans are for you. You can always counter engineer it. Almost always. Let's leave some. Let's hedge some bets. You can reverse engineer it into a different, obviously wrong thing, but by applying their logic. There is one mediator between man and God, and it is Christ Jesus. Okay, so again, no need for the Holy Spirit. I believe on one of those I left a response. Yeah, I've even heard. This is a pattern for me. I've even heard these ortho bros and papists, they pray to the Father through the Son in the Holy Spirit. Can you imagine such paganism? So, you engage in that type of manner. It's obviously meant to mark it's a reductio ad absurdum, like reductio for some reason, I suppose. We become urban classical Latinists when we say reductio, with that word specifically. But all right, reverse engineer it. Recently, someone just posted, if you're a leftist, you shouldn't care about national identity. It's not something it's a shallow thing people can't gather around. And I say, okay, you're a leftist. You believe a good rallying cry is we earn roughly the same amount of money. And that's class solidarity. So If you're going to be reductionist, I can be reductionist. If you're going to be hyper-literalist, I can be hyper-literalist. It's not difficult. Like, Protestant theology isn't difficult. Can you explain Protestantism to a Serb? Okay, I'm honestly very confused. So, is it one church or how it works? It depends on whom you would ask, but generally they have the concept of the invisible church. So all the people who believe correct things, they are all part of the church. There is no hierarchy, there is no structure. It's just the body of the faithful. And then they will, depends on whom you ask, they will tell you what the right things to believe are. Because if, a lot of Reformed people, like the Calvinist or offspring of Calvinists, they will say infant baptism is an abomination. And you have others, I believe Presbyterians. Jim Bob talked about Reformed Zuma, he's a Presbyterian. They baptize children. Anglicans baptize children. Lutherans, I believe, also baptize children. Calvin himself would have you executed if you denied infant baptism. But then you have strains of Reformed theology that would say, no, you have to reach what's called an age of reason. You have to understand. Yes, sector. You have to understand everything is being told to you, then you can get baptized. Because for them, baptism isn't anything special. Like, as we said in Serbia, we say Sveta Tajna. Right? In English, the term is sacrament. So for them, it's basically like a thing you do. It's like a celebration or something. So all of this to say, one group will say, if you believe in infant baptism, you are not part of the church. You have the wrong faith. Others will say the opposite. If you don't believe in infant baptism, you have the wrong faith. And then a third group would say, well, this isn't an important issue, so if you believe either, that doesn't affect whether you're part of the church. So that's how they see things. When did infant baptism begin? Like, when that baptism began? What is it? Baptists call it ordinance instead of a sacrament. Yeah. God bless you too, Crypto Shinobi. But for them, baptism, again, isn't this mystical thing. They will call it, as Vigo here says, an ordinance, another term often used is, it's a proof of salvation. It isn't salvific. It isn't regenerative. It isn't for forgiveness. It doesn't forgive sins or anything. You are saved when you profess Christ is died for your sins. I want some author on author violence. Well, wait until the next war starts. Doesn't matter. Like, China can invade Taiwan and us Serbs and the Bulgarians will get at it. In Serbia, we have a saying, ako izbije rat, napadni Bulgare, nećeš da pogrešiš. Which means if any war breaks out, attack the Bulgarians, you won't be wrong. Because in both world wars, we ended up fighting some other people, and then the Bulgarians waltz in, and we call them backstabbers. Is it true your internet is up for only 4 hours? God damn it. Okay, I'm still confused, but so are they. Well, there isn't a single theory on what constitutes a church in different streams of Protestantism, because it's not one unified thing. It's not like talking about Catholicism or Orthodoxy. They disagree on something and break up. And then some are very, very exclusivists. Others are very ecumenist. So I can't give you a simple answer. Yeah, the invisible church. Was a good stream. Thank you. So that's the only way I see of potentially dealing with slop. You won't defeat it. whenever I have to listen to like these more Charlie Kirky, Daily Wiry conservatives. Although I will repeat what I said on Sunday when we were having that birthday stream with DPH. Like, Charlie Kirk has gotten a bit better. If you listen to his interview with Tucker Carlson, he has recognized that classical liberalism just isn't enough to explain what's going on. It's not. Plots are modern Pharisees, only vaguely not atheistic and very rationalistic to the point of absurdity. Well, listen, Enchanted Hero, I wouldn't agree. There are a lot of things the Pharisees were, but that's not one of them. They were right on a lot of things, but obviously had massive mistakes. Christ calls them out for it. He says they're too outwardly focused. Prots are best described, and I'm not the one who came up with the term. They're like, it's either Jay or someone in our circles call it crypto-Manichaeanism. So it's like a Gnostic thing. It's like, oh, it's what you believe, not what you do, because you can listen to them talk about like the body and the flesh, like, oh, this disgusting body, and they start talking about nonsense. But it's a mental thing. They think the body is evil and the spiritual is good, which is again nonsense. There are things people can read certain epistles of St. Paul when he talks about the problems of the flesh, but St. Paul didn't believe the flesh was evil. We believe the body is good, the flesh is good, but corrupted and needs to be cleansed through fasting, through prayer, through vigils, etc. The saints are very clear on that as well, both early and modern. Like, the body isn't bad, it just needs to be healed, just like on the spiritual, on the inside. There isn't this sharp dichotomy, but there is for Protestants, which is why I talked about, we were asked about John 3:16, about whoever believes in Christ will be saved. And I went, checked the Koinonia, it said Pistevon. So it's from pistis. It is the whole thing is about faithfulness, not a mere mental action, because you can reduce that if you'd like, go reductionistic on it, and it will you will see the problem of it. And Enchanted Hero says that makes more sense. Thank you. I'm glad we see eye to eye on that. Thank you, Jack the Guitar God, for $10 US. Says, thank you for the engagement. Have some terrible life events, and these streams help me keep my mind busy, and I have some business. Hope you all have a blessed day. Well, God grant you help with those life events. Hopefully they aren't too scarring, and try to ground yourself more in faith and prayer. I know I've been through several, and it's not me saying if you pray things will be all right. Just I'm trying to say build up strength to endure it better. And again, God bless you, and thank you for the support. Posher streams are part of theosis along with fasting and prayer. That sounds like you're giving something up. Like it's a penance. Yes, Serbia thanks you, Jack the Guitar God. I try not to get to the Israel-Palestine slop, but when posts start saying about being the chosen people and God curses their enemies, I can't resist myself. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm sort of like you. What's that from Family Guy? Like, guys, you're both just terrible. I'm late. Hello, Posh, with an inverted E. So it's not yellow Posh, it's hello Posh. So good choice of letters, folder wars. It's horrible. It can also escalate very easily. Israel isn't doing well. I talked about this when I jumped on Jim Bob's stream, or maybe it was the dispensationalist stream that we did. And then after Jay left, or maybe it was some other, like, Israel isn't doing well in the war, just to be clear. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not happy about death. Obviously, I say you're both terrible, but I want you both to come to Christ and stop being terrible. That I don't want you to be slaughtered. Is it safe to say that Israel today is not the same Israel of the Bible? It would be unsafe to say otherwise. So Israel is a term for the church. It was in the Old Testament. It's so in the New Testament. I talked about this a lot. Suspicious. It wasn't a genetic thing. Even in Exodus, it says a mixed multitude left Egypt. I talked about Phineas and Caleb. Phineas means one of dark skin because his mother was Ethiopian. Caleb was a Canaanite. Who else is a good example? I can't remember right now. I'm in a different mindset. But you have Canaanites who have converted and become prominent. It's not a genetic thing. It's a ritual thing. It's a religious thing. Religiosity. Phineas means one of dark skin. Yes. Israel, Palestine, they're so similar. Right. Oh, we've got shareholders united for 100. I can say I know this this currency because he has donated to Andrew and Jim Bob, and they don't know it's the Swedish crown, 100 Swedish kronor. Says happy belated birthday, you crazy Serb. Thank you very much, shareholders united. Much appreciated. Letter to Romans takes a new meaning after you see the church as Israel and Christians as Jews. Right. A lot of things about Romans can be easily misinterpreted. Like Jacob I love, Esau I've hated. That's not talking about Jacob and Esau. That's talking about Judah, but Israel, right? What's left of it at that point? Like that's after the split. Israel and the Edomites, because the Edomites, who were also worshipping the one true God, fell to paganism. And after Judah was attacked, not only did they not assist them, not only did they not accept refugees, they actually started raiding them. So, yeah. My girlfriend is Palestinian. Is she pale and her surname ends in Stein? Is that what you're trying to say, Doomadoxy? Yeah, that's I forgot about that joke. Secosting posh. Sorry. She's partially blind. Well, that explains her choice of partner. Oh God, I should stop if you're not joking around. That was probably rougher than me growing up in the 90s. So God bless her. She's pale, but that's from her Ukrainian side. What? Is that a girlfriend in Sims 4? Is that what we're doing to Medoxy? God is pretty harsh on those who doesn't accept refugees, refugees. Yeah. God is very much for helping the poor, the widows, the orphans, the sick. There's a point at which he says he will preserve Judah and Jerusalem. This was before Jerusalem fell to the Babylonians. He said, if you repent and you start helping the widows, the orphans, the poor, the sick, etc., I will spare you. Not that God was like punishing them for, again, we have to keep reminding people of this. God doesn't punish for purposes of just punitive measures and wrath and satiating his wrath, or something you will hear from especially the Calvinists. It's because you will only persist in error. So you need to be, carrot and the stick. So it's time for the stick. Right. I think you've seen a photo of her, Habibi. Oh, look at all these super chats. We have D Sims with 20 British pounds. Thank you very much, D Sims. Here's some birthday money. Thank you so much. I'm 30 now. I need medication. I'm an old man. Pim Oros, again, for 20 USD, says, for the buy a goat for a Serbian family fund. God damn it. Jim Bob and Andrew have ruined me with the goat and all. Although they do switch it to donkey sometimes. So I appreciate the variety as well. Donkeys are great beasts of burden. And they also hate dogs, so base donkeys. She's dead from all the bombs going off throughout her lineage. God damn it. I think the Palestinians are Israelis so convenient to Islam. Islam has a very weird relationship with Israel and Jews, but that's going to be a topic for another time. I can bring up this hadith because Jay was on Apostate Prophet's channel, and he brought up the hadith that Muhammad taught that the reason meat goes rancid is because of the Jews. If it weren't for the Jews, meat would never go bad. So yeah, I swear on my life, he is half of both those people. I am so emphasizing that. That is the worst spelling error you could have made, Dumadoxy. I can imagine her going, oh, time to leave this horrible place and find peace. I am going to Ukraine. Oh, God. I meant she. I hope so. But yeah, God bless her. She literally is in med school. Nice. That's a respectable thing to pursue. Unless you're in the United States and start shopping babies, not babies, but well, I didn't meant to go down that road. I meant more like the trans surgery. Yes, we're going to have Dumadoxy. My wife's a doctor, folks. He every time she passes an exam, Dumadoxy's voice gets a bit more nasally. God damn it. Oh, gracious. Right. Slop-Posting. Let me on. I must defend myself. Okay, let's have you on. I can send you the invite via Instagram, but you have to bring on the accordion. Okay? It's an Albanian free stream. The good old days when that could. Let's see. Ah, goodness. I have to find you here. Can I send it to Instagram? You haven't changed your. Okay, you said deal. So you didn't object. There he is. There you go. So he has to bring on the accordion. Slop-Posting. Yeah, that's like Slop-Posting, but with very, very highly specialized racism. We look like cousins. Okay. If that's how you want to take this. It's a squeeze box, Posh. We've got Yakub in the chat. Our great ancestor and creator Yakub graces us with his presence. Nation of Islam, honestly, one of the funniest things ever. He's probably setting up the accordion. I've only got the guitar right now. Okay. Here he is. I won't be needing this after all. Manage the setup. So prepare your ears because it's probably going to start blasting immediately. But we will arrange things.
I have to double check. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I try out some chords or something. Just so.
Let me see if I can off echo cancellation. Adjust mic. Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
Yeah. Okay, it's not too loud.
I'll start off with the Serbian national anthem.
Nice. I started clapping, but then I realized it's probably not going to be in sync. So probably just ruining it.
I brought it on. I see I kept my word. It's okay.
Which is strange for you people, but I'm glad you're the exception to the rule.
there is actually the worst kind. Actually, I wanted to say something real quick. I was sitting down with a priest at his house for dinner, and it was on a Friday where we could eat meat, so it was a feast day, and he invited us over. And I sat down, I pulled out my accordion, and I go, Father, why do the Jewish people, why does their music sound like the way they talk? Why is it so whiny? And he goes, what do you mean? And then I did. Oy vey.
I actually know the lyrics. I come back after a long time, and this is probably as close as I'm getting to not being cancelled.
No, it's okay. I'm a minority.
Yeah. I swear, I'm a minority. I make ice cream. I Albanian. Okay, so is there anything you wanted to play in particular?
Oh frick, I don't even know. I brought the song to meme.
You can meme.
I mean, I can play some jazz. You like jazz?
Yeah, that's one way to get kicked off stream.
like something that both of our cultures will appreciate, right?
Okay.
Oh,
That's a bit faster than I'm used to it. But look at this Philistine. He thinks he doesn't recognize Russian music.
all Russian.
I can't remember the lyrics. I can look them up, obviously, but we can't sing together. That's what annoys me.
I'll send you a rendition of one Russian song. You can just sing over.
Okay. We can post that as a video.
Oh man, how have you been? What? So Slop-Posting. I'm quite familiar.
It's impossible not to be. If you spend an hour on the internet, you've engaged mostly with Slop-Posting, and it's really, really annoying. And as I said, you can't really do anything about it. What are you going to do? If you engage with it, you've done what the point of it was. If you don't engage with it, you're just letting it promulgate some ridiculous message, in a lot of cases, heresy, some Protestant nonsense. And again, they post like a verse, and then you have to write, a thematic elaboration, like 5 pages, to correct it. And well, you see how simple the gospel is. Do you think some illiterate peasant would have known about this? And I go, sod off.
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of Slop-Posting, man. Look, heresy, I think, is needed, especially in today's day and age, because then you can point out all of the what's the PG word? What's the word that you can use on YouTube? You can't use the R word anymore, right?
I think these. That R word.
Can you use
say
that on YouTube?
Albanian, for example.
You have to get rid of the Albanianism. You have to get rid it's easy to spot.
Oh goodness!
I'm still waiting on the ultimate slop post. It's where we gather people from each section of the Balkans, and we start arguing with each other. And the moment someone calls someone else a Turk is when the stream ends.
I think lives are going to end, but there was like a Balkan subreddit, and it keeps getting banned, but keeps getting restarted. I can imagine Reddit mods reading Balkan posting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that must be a new world for them.
So what are the other topics that we're discussing today? How are we going to tie this into saving the Balkan people?
We get McDonald's out.
Okay.
Like all the 5 locations they have in Serbia, that's what's actually ruining us. Not all the depleted uranium in Kosovo.
You guys have to do what my country did. You know Starbucks, right?
Right.
They've never had been able to open a successful location in Albania. Do you know why?
Did they keep getting robbed or racketeered?
Well, that's one reason, but there's the main reason is because the coffee there is so cheap that they're unable to actually compete with the culture of coffee. So now
Oh,
what you have to do is burn down every McDonald's legally, and then, and then
that's
establish your own
in the
Serbian
Balkans.
church.
Legally is a very broad term. Yeah, the same with McDonald's. Like especially in like this part of Serbia, where I am, it's very well known for like hamburgers and like grilled meat in general, but especially like minced meat products. Um, and McDonald's is actually more expensive than the local stuff, and the local stuff actually has meat in it, which is interesting. So the only people who go there are like middle class, upper middle class people who want to be seen as like Western and like, oh, we're not one of these savages, you know, to eat like to pay less for much better food.
So I have an important question. Do the McDonald's over there serve chivapi?
That's what I'm trying to say. No,
No.
no,
Then they must go.
obviously. Right.
Oh,
So you working on getting married?
God willing.
Yeah. If you have a son, are you naming him Tony Blair?
I'm gonna name him after you.
Well,
Serbian
what?
with bad facial hair is gonna be the full name.
Like people are going to know that's me more easily than with my name. They might ask, you know, like there are plenty of Serbs with bad facial hair, and you say no with the really bad facial. Oh, mean posh.
Exactly.
You know, my name is Sava. You know, after Saint
Yes.
Sava, and he and Saint Simon founded Hilandar, and that's where Skenderbeg is buried.
Yeah, yeah. I actually heard this from. It's a Greek, so take it with a grain of salt. They were saying that there is reason to
A
believe
grain of feta.
a grain of there's a reason to believe that Skanderbeu might have died as an Orthodox Christian because of his relationship to the monks on Mount Athos and his brother being an iconographer. And even his was it his daughter being a saint buried in Serbia as well?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like
We'd have
fairly
to look it
positive.
up.
Yeah.
That's not a fact that would be widely known in Albania for different reasons.
Because
but
the IQ there is 80 or average IQ.
I think 81. Don't sell your people short.
You're
But
so generous.
well, obviously, that's the Serbian way. generous with single IQ points and much more generous with munitions.
my friend got baptized in the Serbian church before, like a while ago, and we're having a conversation back and forth. He sneezed. I said, "Bless you," and he goes, "The lesser cannot bless the greater."
Oh, that's bloody epic! Is he Albanian?
No, he's American. Oh man.
There's a that reminded me of a joke. So there was a gypsy family, and they want to be recognized as Serbs, not as gypsies. So they're told if you swim the entirety of the Danube from Belgrade over to Schwarzwald in Germany, like to its source, so upriver, we will no longer recognize you as gypsies. You will be fully certain. So it's mother, father, son, and daughter, and they start swimming. The daughter drowns very quickly. Halfway there, the mother also drowns, and as they're reaching the end, the source of the Danube, the son is really losing steam, and the father reaches the end and gets out of the water, panting, and the son reaches his hand like, "Father, help me! I'm going to drown." And he said, and the father says, "I don't care, you gypsy piece of shit."
That's a good one.
Yeah, you can adopt it to like a local version if you'd like.
I have a bit of a different one because you mentioned swimming and drowning. There was a Albanian man who was stranded on an island for years, and he was relaxing. He got into the rhythm of everything. Every single night he was killing a boar. He was eating it, cooking it on a fire. He had a shelter and everything like that. A woman shows up on shore one day, stranded on the island, and the woman is struggling to make a shelter. She's struggling to build anything, and she sees the guy has a boar already cooking on the fire, has his shelter, and the woman walks up to him and says, "If you let me stay with the shelter, I'll give you something that you haven't seen in years." And the Albanian man looks at her and goes, "Don't tell me you brought raki with you."
I forgot it's an Albanian joke, so it didn't go the goat road. I think I heard like one about Muslims, but he says something like that. It wasn't rakia, but like you have that. She says, "No, I mean sex." Well, and he points to the goat. Like, what do you mean I haven't had it in years?
Oh man!
Oh goodness!
Is that a slop post? Is Balkan jokes a slop post or a slav post?
Not if told by Bulgarian, then it's Asian slop.
Oh man!
Oh,
that's
goodness.
too good.
So how have you been?
I've been okay. My school life is crazy. My work life is crazy. I had a few hours of free time today, and I tuned in to Pasha's stream. Pash, I tuned into your stream, and I tuned into Jim Bob's stream. My brain is fried right now.
Right, the double barrel.
Yeah, I've been going through a lot of books, psychotherapy books, Orthodox psychotherapy specifically.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, man.
Does it mention, using holy water to see if someone is possessed?
Well, I mean, I can't touch that stuff because my skin burns, but
Nice one.
Thank you.
It was rather recently that I realized raki, like Turkish, is like uzo. It's not like what we call rakia.
No, it's not. Actually, I have a interesting story about that because how you say it, Šljivovica? Šljivovica. Okay, but there's a Serbian monastery nearby my house, a 45-minute drive. And I went over there for a couple of liturgies. We would go and I'm surprised they let me in the first place. But I have a few stories about this place.
It's like penance.
Yeah. I got one of the priests to bless my car, and after he blessed my car, he looks at me. He goes, "The other Serbian priests are never going to believe this." He goes, "I blessed it all in his car anyway."
And then you start the car and just bomb.
I went over there, and after the liturgy, I went to the bookstore, and I was walking around the bookstore with a couple of friends, and the one guy in charge of it was the head chanter, and he had behind his desk a little bottle of raki or rakia, and we were walking around. I was looking at a prayer rope. I pick one up and I say, "Hey, how much is this prayer rope?" And he looks at me and he goes, "The one in your hand is $10. The one in your pocket we have to talk about." I went up to him after we started talking about raki. I had my friends around me. And he goes, "Oh, okay." So he pulls out the little bottle and he gives everybody a capful to try. And I take it, I try it, and I'm sitting there around my other friends like, "Oh, yours is made of plums." And everyone looks at me, they go, "You're an alcoholic."
Wait, like that's a standard one in Serbia? Šljivovica,
Yeah,
šljiva means plum, right?
Yeah.
And I thought when I heard raki, like Turkish, I thought maybe, obviously not plums, maybe it's you make it from apples, pears, whatever.
Yeah.
Probably the best but also very expensive one is quince.
Yeah.
Because it's a very dry type of fruit, you don't get a lot of juice from it. But šljivovica is the standard one, so to speak. So I wasn't expecting. I like uzo, although if you get a hangover from uzo, it's like one of the worst things in the world. Like it's like drinking poison. It's great when you drink it. Very bad on the recovery. And
do you know the myth? There's a myth actually about getting a hangover. That's the reason baklava was invented. Is a bunch of Turks got drunk. They got so wasted off of uzo that they woke up one morning, their body was craving sugar. So their wife had just made a little like phyllo pastry with nuts, and she melted a bunch of sugar, put it all over the syrup, and that's how baklava was invented. It's to cure hangovers.
I mean, sounds believable. I could never eat baklava because it's too sweet.
No.
I don't like sweets in general, but then there are things I didn't even like as a child, and it's like poison level sweet, like just overwhelming every other sense. Oh, it's with nuts. That's not going to help me. I can only take sugar. The nuts just give it a crunch, you know. But yeah, I can believe that, especially if they got drunk from uzo. And then you can always be the guy because you add the ice cube and then it turns white and everything.
Yeah.
And when someone doesn't know that, you can always go, huh. So yeah, metaxa. Have you tried metaxa?
Yeah, I have a bottle over at my bar right now.
I can't drink it. It tastes like alcoholic oil.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
The only things I can actually go out of my way to drink are raki, vodka, cognac, and Fernet Branco. That's it.
Yeah, only.
Sometimes all at once, but that's
in succession.
Yeah.
We have an explanation for baklava.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, cool. Created it.
Is it the uncreated or created baklava?
Yeah, uncreated loins of Allah. Uncreated nuts for the. Oh God. This went in a direction I wasn't expecting.
That's because you let on an Albanian.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, good. Someone earlier in the chat, someone said the chat went quiet. I think they're confused, but lots of local law. So yeah.
They have to learn Balkan history. That's the next stream. It's full on just explaining Balkan history.
The secret history of the Balkans. Each separate ethnicity in the Balkans built the pyramids, by the way. The ones in Egypt, like each separately.
I actually have a theory about the slop-posting. If you want to hear it, to try and get back on topic. Are you familiar with who the Chams are?
Chums?
Chams. It's Q-O-M-S, like cham.
No.
But these are people who are probably, the best way I can describe it is the only people in history who consecutively rolled a 1 on a d20 5 times in a row. It's
That's not some D&D nonsense, is it?
No, I mean, anyway. Anyway.
Oh, for God's sake.
A dice, man, a 20-sided. Anyway, but the whole
oh, like a 20 Sunday say dice, they always get the 1. Okay.
Yeah, they roll the
I
1.
get you now.
Yeah. So these people, they were a group of Albanians that are known as traitors, because every time Albania got into a conflict, they would always somehow manage to pick the losing side.
Wow, the one time you actually managed to be like Italians. The one time you succeed after so much trying.
So we're very weary about chums, and I personally think that they invented the slop post to divert to divert eyes onto Albanians, to make everyone else hate them just as much as we hate chums.
I have to look into this. This is a piece of lore I'm not familiar with. Oh, goodness.
That's a good comment.
Which one?
In America, to have this much fun, it definitely requires drugging.
Yeah, that's because they can't drink tap water. Christ.
Yeah, and our tap water is full of arsenic, so that's why we're stronger anyway.
Yes, that. It's not diversity. Adversity makes us stronger.
Absolutely.
Right. I'll start wrapping this up. I know people. Luckily, we haven't been drinking. This could have gone off the rails.
Next time, I'll bring Raki. You'll have Raki, and we'll just start arguing.
But we have to. We can start sober, and then it gets progressively worse. If we start drunk, you'll start thinking too much about it.
Are we starting like American sober or European sober?
Yeah, obviously you have a couple when you wake up with
okay.
coffee.
Yeah, good. Okay. Cigarette with the coffee.
American sober. They don't need to drink. Like, half the food is just, frying their nervous systems anyway. So, why would you need any type of high? But we will also have to. We will have to do it on like Rumble.
is a few slurs will get thrown out.
We could contain it, but where's the fun? You know?
Why would we?
Right.
Oh man. Well,
Right.
thank you for having me on.
Thank you for jumping on. This was fun. God bless.
God bless.
God. My cheeks hurt. So that was fun. Who is live to raid Posh? Let's check right now. Luckily, I use a different channel for like watching slop. So this channel I'm live on has only a few people I'm subscribed to. So if they are live, I should see it. But it doesn't seem anyone is. DPH said he might be live today, but nope. Jay was live earlier on. Nope. No one is live. I have no one to send you to Viking. So sorry about that. I like to view ratios of the charts. Thank you. Right. This is when we interact in a friendly manner. We have to have one link that's positive, and luckily it's orthodoxy. So. Right. His old channel has 1 million subs. Yes. Nowhere to sod off to. Exactly, Robert. I mean, it's easy for me. It's midnight here, so I'm I'm sodding off to bed. But it's also eating gypsies. Well, that's not just a Balkan thing. That's a pan-European. If there's anything that could ever unite us all, that would be the one thing. So sorry, I have nowhere to send you off to. It's also a bit too late for me to start singing the Austrian song. So I'll have to do it on Thursday. 109 likes, 66 viewers. Nice. Crucible live in 2 hours. They don't need raids, but I'd still send over. But so I can just tell you to check it out. Who has 1 million subs? It's a joke. Nadim. I don't post on the other channel. It's just the one I've been using for 12 years and just watching stuff. So again, thank you for coming and engaging, for liking, and thank you everyone who's donated. I appreciate it very much. I can acquire at least a quarter of a goat. So thank you so much. Right, we will be back on Thursday. I'm thinking of doing a debate review, but we'll see. Maybe I find something else to do. Posh, live in your actual country of origin. Where was it? Crete? Was it that Yakub made the whites? Okay. God bless you all. Let's not prolong this anymore. There's been enough banter for now. Let's not fry our systems. Hi. Thank you. Era 23. I'm not sure if it's Era or IRA. Oh, here's not this. Dr. Crispy Johnson emphasized this. This link is the channel that me and Baron Strawberry are starting for a weekly show to laugh at red pillars and the manosphere. Usually we talk about the liberal left, but there we will be opening fire on the other tarred side. How far are you from memberships, Posh? Not very far. I'll have to contact Jim Bob for a couple of stickers or icons or whatever, and we'll be off. Do Medoxy if you want to go live. I'll wait until you start and let people go there. But if you're joking, you're wasting precious minutes. Playing Warhammer Space Marines too. I wasn't thrilled with the first one. Now I'm messing. Okay. Let us know when if you actually start doing lives. But Space Marine was a bit linear for me. Fun. I love Warhammer, but yeah. All right. Like always, I can't do anything unless it takes 10 minutes. So again, thank you everyone watching, liking, donating, and being here. God bless you all, and see you on Thursday.